Welcome back to FF Jack Gaming, and thanks for watching. Today we're opening up 3 packs of Dungeons & Dragons Forgotten Realms. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with this. We're going to have the Planeswalker goes against the Mind Flayer, and they also go against Dragons. Let's see who wins. Starting off with the Planeswalker deck, we'll see what he has inside. We have a Blink Dog that gives us the stats and everything that goes along with that. Something you can run into your D&D campaign. There's the art card so you can see a better art of that dog. He's a good little boy. We have a Swamp. Dire Wolf Prowler. Costs 2 and a green. Is a wolf, has a 2/2 body, has the ability of we pay 1 and a green, and Dire Wolf gets +2/+2 and gains haste until end of turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. It's also a fancy art one that's out of the set. Each pack ends up having something like that. We have a Grim Bounty that costs 2 and 2 black for a sorcery. Destroy a target creature or planeswalker. Create a treasure token. Devour Intellect costs 1 black for a sorcery. Target opponent discards a card. If mana from this was a treasure spent, then we get to, instead, that player reveals their hand, and you get to choose the non-land card from it. And then that player discards that card. Shambling Gasp is a zombie, and when it dies, we get to choose one. Brave the Stench. Target creature and an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Search the Body. Create a treasure token. Treasure can end up being sacrificed for mana. Has a 1/1 body. Monk of the Open Hand costs 1, and it's Elf Monk. Man, these guys are all over the place pack-wise. That's an uncommon. And it's a 1/1 body, has Flurry of Blows. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Monk of the Open Hand. We're going back to the Rally Maneuver. Costs 1 and a white for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Up to 1 other target creature gets +0/+2 and gains lifelink until end of turn. Lifelink would be kind of nice with something like this Lurking Roper that costs 2 and a green for a horror. It doesn't untap during our untap step, but whenever we gain life, untap it. Has a 4/5 body. 2 more uncommons that came out of that. Interesting. Deadly Dispute costs 1 and a black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or a creature. We get to draw 2 cards and create a treasure token. And then we have the Pauper's Innkeeper. Costs 1 and a green for a halfling citizen. Has a 1/1 body. When it enters the battlefield, we get to create a treasure token. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. And our mythic rare that we opened up out of this, wow, way to go, Planeswalkers, is Xanathar, Guild Kingpin. Costs 4, a blue, and a black for a legendary beholder. Has a 5/6 body. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one target. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose a target opponent. Until end of turn, that player can't cast spells. You may look at the top card of their library at any time. You may play the top card of their library, and you may spend mana as though it was mana of any color to cast spells this way. Woo! That was definitely pretty wordy. Our foil is Barred the Gate. Costs a 2 and a blue for an instant. Counter a target creature or planeswalker spell. Venture into the dungeon. Woo, buddy. And then since it is heavy on treasure, we got a treasure token. Wow, it seems like the planeswalker came out swinging. That kingpin was pretty nice. But with that said, we gotta see what the Mind Flayers bring to the table. Alright, Mind Flayers are coming out with some mimic action. Given our stats and everything, if we want to run this into a campaign. There's the bigger art for it. It's always nice to be able to trick your group. We got planes. A celestial unicorn that costs 2 and a white for a unicorn. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on celestial unicorn. Has a 3/2 body. It's also a fancy art one. You come to a river. Costs 1 and a blue for an instant. Choose one. Fight the current. Return a target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Or we could find a crossing. A target creature gets +1/+0 until the turn and can't be blocked this turn. Then we have a Baleful Beholder that costs 4 and 2 black for a Beholder. That is a 6/5 body. When it enters the battlefield, we get to choose one. Anti-Magic Cone. Each opponent sacrifices an enchantment. Or the Fear Ray. Creatures you control gain menace until end of turn. Has a 6/5 body. Talk about a Beholder. We got the Eyes of the Beholder. Costs 4 and 2 black for an instant. Target creature gets -11/-11 until the end of turn. Iron Golem costs 4 for a golem that has vigilance and it attacks or blocks each combat if able. Has a 5/3 body. We gotta cast some Magic Missile. Costs 1 and 2 red. It's a sorcery. It's also an uncommon. Last card was an uncommon. Interesting. This spell can't be countered. Magic Missile deals 3 damage divided to 1, 2, or 3 targets. That is up to us. Alright. Let's come on over with some Wizard class. Costs 1 blue. You have no maximum hand size. We could level it up to 2. When it becomes level 2, we get to draw 2 cards. Or we could level it up to 3 is whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature you control. We're thinking about some improvised weaponry for 2 and a red. It's a sorcery. It deals 2 damage to any target. Create a treasure token. Treasure token can be sacrificed for mana. One of the rares, that's right, one of the rares is Frog Behemoth. Costs 2 and 3 green for a frog horror. Has trample and haste. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the up to that many target cards from their graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter onto them for each creature card exiled this way. You gain 1 life for each non-land creature card that we exile this way. Has a 4/4 body. And then we have Flop. It is a white and 1 for a jellyfish. Has defender and flying. Whenever it is dealt damage, you and a target opponent may draw 1 card. Has a 0/4 body. And then our foil is a Dire Wolf Prowler. A little fancy art that came out of it. And then we have a fancy advertisement for Arena. Wah, wah, wah. It's an interesting pack. Mind Flayers came over and they tried to do a little bit of jabbing action. But I would still say that the Planeswalkers has it since they have the little kingpin in their corner. I think it's about time we see what the dragons bring to the table. Wonder if they have any counter to all this kingpin stuff and boxing stuff. We have an art card of an owl bear. See? Owl bear. It's by Pedro Porter. It's 76 out of 81. We have a forest. Gnoll Hunter. Costs us 1 and a green for a gnoll. Has pack tactics. Whenever a Gnoll Hunter attacks, if it attacked with creatures with a total power of 6 or greater, this combat, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it. Has a 2/2 body. And then we have an Earth Cult Elemental that costs us 4 and 2 red for an elemental that's a 6/6 body. It has a siege monster. When it enters the battlefield, roll a d20. 1 through 9, each player sacrifices a permanent. 10 through 19, each opponent sacrifices a permanent. Or 20, each opponent sacrifices 2 permanents. Hey, that's not nice. That's being mean there, dragons. Brazen Dwarf. Costs us 1 and a red for a Dwarf Shaman. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, Brazen Dwarf deals 1 damage to each opponent. Has a 1/3 body. Swarming Goblins. Costs us 4 and a red for a goblin. When it enters the battlefield, we roll a dice. Man, the dwarf will be loving that. 1 through 9, we get to create 1/1 red goblin creature token. 10 through 19, we get to create 2 of those guys. And then if we roll a 20, we get 3 of those guys. We got Calhoun, the Reclusive Painter. Costs us a black and a red for a legendary creature. It's a human elf bard. Has a 1/2 body. And when it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them for each mana from a treasure spent on them. Alright, we're going to open up with a Skullport Merchant. Costs us 2 and a black. It's a Dwarf Citizen. It's an uncommon, so is the last guy. When it enters the battlefield, we get to create a treasure. You can pay 1 and a black, sacrifice another creature or a treasure. Draw a card. Has a 1/4 body. Next is an uncommon. And it's just another Innkeeper. Uncommon is a Hulking Bugbear. Costs us 1 and 2 red. It's a goblin that has haste and it's a 3/3 body. And then you come to a river. Our rare from the pack is the Black Staff of Waterdeep. Costs us 1 blue. It's a legendary artifact. You may choose not to untap the staff during the untap step. Hence, animate walking statue. Costs us 1 and blue, and then we get to tap another non-token artifact you control. That becomes a 4/4 artifact creature for as long as the staff remains tapped. Only activate this as a sorcery. And then we have a skeleton token. Then on the other side is a dungeon. So with the dungeons, once you be able to start, you start at the top and you work yourself down. You have choices which way you end up going. And then whenever you normally finish it, like this one, when you finish it, we get to draw a card. Our foil is Critical Hit. Costs us 1 and a red for an instant. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. When you roll a natural 20, return Critical Hit from your graveyard to your hand. It's an uncommon. Well, that wasn't bad, but I hate to say it, but the Planeswalkers won. Xanathar comes in the clutch. What do you think? Put it down in the comments down below if whoever you thought that won the match. Remember, it's between Planeswalkers, Mind Flayers, or Dragons. If you're liking the content that we're putting out, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon to be notified about any of our future content. Also, I'd like to thank you for ending up watching our video. And until next time, see you later.